Hi. Welcome back. So I recorded a video today and I wasn't feeling it. So I started recording a video, and again with the Hierophant, I had to move on, people. I just couldn't. I'm probably going to skip the Hierophant and go and just keep going with my series on the experiential meaning of the cards, because I got to tell you that I think I'm just going to go with the next card, the Lovers, but not today. I'm not in the mood. Today I want to talk about tarot, tarot influences in our lives, like when or tarot experiences, tarot archetypes in our lives, specifically the Tower. And I don't think I ever talked about the difference between oracle cards and tarot cards in my life, my usage of them. Those of you who've been watching me for a while can probably tell that my energy is a little bit different today. I'm a little pissed off today. I'm pissed off. I'm unsettled. I thought I wasn't going to. I thought maybe I didn't want to record a video today because I didn't want to be pissed off, unsettled, on screen, for all to see. But I gotta tell you, lately I have not been feeling sunshine and lollipops and all that shit. So I figured might as well come on here and you get to visit with me in the mood that I'm currently in. All right. Today I want to talk about when the Tower comes to call. The Tower. Major Arcana number 16. Adds up to 7, the hard way. The Mystic. I have an interesting relationship with the Tower card. I need the Tower, not frequently, but in my own life. I need the Tower to come visit. I need the Tower to come call every now and then, because my natural state is the 8 of Swords. And when in my life, I have had the Tower come to call on many occasions, as I'm sure some of you have. But there's when the Tower comes to call for me in 2 very distinct manners. One is when I'm so stuck in a rut, whether it be a manner of thinking, of feeling, of existing. That's my dog. Like, she's already bored with my video. When I'm stuck in a rut, when I'm stuck in rigid thinking, when I'm stuck in a situation, see, the reality of it is we are not stuck. Stuck is of our own creation. We create stuck by how we think of our situation, whether it be or a way of thinking or a way of being. Stuck is something that we define, if we're stuck or not. And the Tower comes to call when we've been stuck for too long and it's time to get out of it. And I have experienced, I'm going back, I know it's like I'm repeating myself, but It's that kind of day. I apologize. The tower comes to call in two ways, externally and internally. Oh, I hadn't said that yet. Okay, good. My experience has been the tower comes to call either externally or internally. Externally is shit happening to you. That's out of your control. And it's kind of strange too. It's like everything was status quo for the longest time, and suddenly there's rumblings in your external world that just rocks your foundation, and you're thinking, what the actual fuck is going on? The tower comes to call externally when you are not allowing it to express from your internal self. Meaning, when you know there's a decision to be made and you keep putting it off and pretending it's not there. When you know the time is up. When you know your work is done in a certain sense, and it's time to move on, and you just hang around because you've become complacent or because it's safe. There's no such thing as safe. Because just when you feel that everything is stable, well, it starts to become stale. If you're meant to grow, just when you feel comfortable in the pot that you're in, the clay cracks. Either because someone nudged it and it fell off the table and onto the floor and there's a crack in the pot, or because your roots start to expand and apply pressure on the pot and it cracks. When the tower comes to call, nothing stops it. There's no way of stopping it. It has to happen. It's like when death comes to call. In the past, I've described when my first dog, my soul dog, when she was diagnosed with cancer and then had a reprieve, and then it came back with a vengeance. I could feel the rumbling of the horse's gallop of death coming towards her, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. And same thing with loved ones, right? It's like when it's in motion, death is on its way. There's no stopping it. Same thing with the tower. And the thing is that I know I do. I fooled myself into believing I fooled myself into believing that I could postpone the tower. I was so arrogant. And I am so arrogant. I'm a Leo. Arrogance is something I struggle with a lot. Especially when it comes to like personal things, right? The way I think about my, the way I live my life. It's like, I don't struggle with arrogance with how I deal with other people. I struggle with arrogance in how I perceive the world and the decisions I make and all this stuff. So, for example, I was so arrogant to believe that I could tell the tower. That I was so arrogant to believe that I could tell the tower when and how to crumble. So much so that it caught me by surprise when I suddenly was faced with a situation where I pulled a foundational brick right out of the tower. And now all I could do is watch as it crumbles. So you might be wondering, maybe not. Maybe you're not wondering. I'm going to share it anyway. Why am I pissed off? My first reaction to me being the one to pull the bricks out from the foundation to crumble the tower, it was a very strange sensation. It was a very strange experience. It was somewhere between, I can just leave it the way it is, and, oh no, I have no choice. Because either I pull the bricks, and it's because I know I'm being very cryptic, and I don't mean to be vague YouTubing and stuff like this, but I'm trying to describe the sensation. Not, you don't need to hear about, like, you know, my regular life, because it's like everyone else's regular life. I want to talk about it figuratively, because I want you to be able to apply it to your own life. External forces were starting to come towards my structure. External forces were starting to exert their pressure on the foundation of my structure. And I said, hell no, fuck off. I pull the bricks out of my own foundation. I crumble my own tower. Because I've done it before, and I'll do it again. And there is a sense of being in your own power when you make the decision. It doesn't matter if the decision is made for you. It doesn't matter that the reason you pull the bricks out of your foundation and crumble your own tower is because you see external forces wanting to do it to you or to it, or because you see that it's inevitable. When the tower comes to call, it's inevitable. The tower is linked to death as an archetype in life. The tower is linked to death. The tower comes to call, and it's never when you expect it to be coming to call, and it's never where you plan it to be coming to call. But in order to not feel out of control, in order to not be a victim of circumstance, you need, my experience has been, I'm saying you, let me, not to be a victim of circumstance. I pull the first brick, then the second brick, and the third brick. And in Rider Waite, it's literally a tower. And there's a deck that I don't own, but the tower card in that deck actually does express my experience of the tower, and it's in the Everyday Witch. Imagine, of all the decks, I never owned it. I don't own it. In the Everyday Witch tarot, the tower card, there's the figure in the card, there's the tower, and it looks, the image looks as though she tore down the tower. when the tower comes to call. Now I'm at that place where it's crumbling. It's crumbling. I don't know what's going to be left. I don't know. Oh my goodness, between my dog and I don't know what's going to be left once the tower crumbles. Excuse me, I need to attend to her insanity. And I'm back. All right. I don't know what's going to be left. But whatever's left, I will rebuild. And I think that's what my experience has always been with the tower. And whenever the towers come to call and I let it crumble, or as I got older and more experienced, I started to hasten the crumbling of the tower. Every time I've rebuilt with what was left, even if it was just a crater, because sometimes all that's left is a crater, an empty crater. It's always been better. It's always been greater, better, more wonderful. So I guess I just wanted to share that with you today. That I'm in a place right now where the tower has come to call. And maybe I needed to record this video so I'd be okay to record my next video. So that you'd understand the mood I'm in and why I may seem off. The tower has come to call. And I ripped out the foundation. I took control of the situation as much as I can, because that too is a fallacy. I have zero control right now. It's a lie I tell myself. It's a lie I tell myself that I have control because I pulled out the foundation of my tower. But that's okay, because we're constantly telling ourselves lies that are not harmful. They're just for survival. And I'm aware it's a lie I tell myself. But I'm hoping that by sharing this with you today, if you're feeling the tower, if you found this video whenever, whether it's in the present right now in February of 2021, or in the future, or in the past, I don't know. Time's not linear. Yeah, you know what I mean. I just confused myself. Whenever you're finding this video, if the tower is coming to call, know that no matter what, it's going to raise everything to the ground. So you can choose to be a passive participant, kind of like a victim of circumstance, or an active participant. You can choose whether you want to be passive or active. But when the tower comes to call, there's no avoiding it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wherever you are in the world, I'm wishing you a beautiful day.